Hey guys, welcome to Galaxy Sparkles, where I turn imagination into reality. Thank you for tuning in and giving me a few minutes of your time. Leave a comment below and let me know how my craftsmanship has came along. Also like and share this video. And if you'd like to watch my progression as a one-stop shop, subscribe and let us take the journey together. Galaxy Sparkles.
Good morning, guys. It is Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. It is currently 28 degrees outside, and we're not going to spend too much time out in the garage. We're going to actually get to use some leftover material. The only thing I am going to have to do is make our band, and I'm going to use it out of wire. I have a pretty cool little idea today. The themed ring today is the quasar ring. We're going to make a blue quasar ring. If you don't know much about quasars, just kind of do your own due diligence and look into them. It's pretty cool, interesting stuff, guys. I mean, I got a lot of bright ideas and some pretty cool themes, and I just want to share what little knowledge I have of the universe, and we're going to carry on. This is actually going to be my bezel for the quasar. I'm going to have to run it through the mill and flatten it on down a little bit. It's a little too thick. So here we go, guys. Let's get started. Let's mill this little unit down, and we'll see y'all at the bench here in just a minute. If you can stay till the very end of this video, guys, I always leave a very special, unique gift for everyone. I cast things out to the universe every single day. And at the end of the video, if you happen to stick that long and you happen to ever catch one of these that I throw out throughout the universe and the universe happens to throw it at you, you better brace yourself, guys, because it's full of everything I say it is. It is completely full, and if it's coming at you, it's going to knock you down. It's going to grab a hold of your life and change it. So, all right, guys, that's enough jibber jabber for now. We're going to get off here. We're going to go into the bench, and I think we got the right thickness for our bezel here. So we'll see y'all in just a few minutes. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I got my bezel there created. I got me a solder ball right here that we're going to lay right on top of it and solder this little unit up. So let's get this thing soldered up. It shouldn't take very long, being it's pretty thin, so it should just solder up real nice and clean and fast. So let's solder this unit up and continue on. Here we go. Alright, guys, that thing's soldered up real good like it was supposed to. You guys hang tight. We're going to get us a backing piece made here. I'm going to actually cut this with my jeweler's saw. We'll take it outside and thin it out a little bit more because it is a little thick at the moment. It's probably a 14 or 16 gauge, just guessing. At the thickness, it may even be a 12 gauge. I'm not really sure, but either way, it's between 12 and 16 gauge, and we're going to mill it on down just a little thinner and make us a backing for our bezel. So here we go. You all hang tight. We'll see y'all in just a few minutes. All right, guys, let's practice getting us a nice straight cut here. I'm using a number 7 blade. I'm out of 8 blades. I done snapped them all up, so I'm going to work my way down to 8 to about 3, and I'll end up ordering me some more. So I have me some backups, but we're going to practice on making us a straight cut here. All right, here we go. Oh, I can already tell you it's crooked. Didn't put my good eye on it. It's definitely crooked. A lot of it's... We'll try to do better next time, guys. That's crooked, guys. I didn't put the good eye on it. We ain't gonna show that off. That's ridiculous. I snapped my little piece of wood there. That thing was pretty flimsy stuff anyway. It came with my jeweler's saw, my original jeweler's saw. And I was using it as a flat piece of flatten some metal yesterday on my vise, which I was using as an anvil, and just snapped it up real good. But hey, it still works for what I need it to at this current moment. But we'll definitely be upgrading whatever this little thing's called. Maybe you'll leave it in the comments, let me know what this thing's called, because I smooth forgot. But anyway, let's go run this piece out to the mill. We'll run this out to the mill and makes a little thinner plate there, and we'll attach it to the back of our bezel. Here we go, you all hang tight. All right, guys, we are flattening this thing out. We're gonna go quarter turns. That way it don't get wavy on us. We don't want that thing to get no waves in it. Yeah, let's go a quarter turn more, and we're gonna call it good on that. That's pretty good stuff right there. Oh yeah, we got us a little wave in it right there, guys. I'm gonna go anneal it, bring it out here, and go a quarter turn more just to get that wavy out of it. I don't want no wave on it, so here we go. Y'all hang tight. I'm gonna get this annealed, get the wave out of it, and we'll see y'all in just a minute back at the bench. All right, guys, here's how I'm gonna get the wave out of this thing. It did create some waviness. I did anneal it, and instead of going a quarter turn to make it any thinner, I'm just gonna go a half of a quarter turn. And we're going to run this thing through there, and hopefully the wave will vanish. Just like that, guys. All we got to do is put it on the anvil, flatten it out, and the wave is gone, boys. All right, you all hang tight. I'm going to... Hell, let's just go along for the ride. Here's my little anvil right back here on the back side of my... Instead of using wood as a flattener, I'm actually just gonna use this piece of metal. Flatten that on down like so. All right, guys, let's go to the bench and attach our bezel to this little piece of plate. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I got me a couple solder balls in there. I'm gonna use my little solder pick. I'm gonna just kind of scoot it to the edge like that, and we're gonna solder this unit up. What I'm gonna do is take my heat. I'm gonna wrap it around the bottom material first, being it's a little bit thicker than my bezel itself, and we'll bring the heat into the bezel, and hopefully it just does its little magic like it usually does, and everything should go nice, smooth, and on course from here. Here we go, guys. Y'all hang tight. Let's solder this up together. Whenever it starts soldering to it, what I'm gonna do is take my tongs here and just press down on the bezel itself to make sure we get good penetration all the way through. All right, guys, here we go. We're getting a little solder action. It's starting to want to do its thing. It's getting to the right color. There it goes. I knew it was getting to the right color, boys. Bring the heat to the back side, make sure we get it nice and soldered all the way around. Looks pretty good, guys. All right, y'all hang tight. We're gonna pickle this thing, get it cut, and start building us a band for it. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm actually gonna be using some pruning shears that I got from Lowe's right here to trim the access material. This is probably 20 gauge, just guessing the thickness of this plate. And these pruning shears that are made for grass, they have stainless steel blades on them, and it cuts it pretty dang nice. I've made several cuts with this thickness of gauge and even thicker, and they do appear to be holding up. So for 12 bucks, you know, I've definitely got us a nice pair of shears here that'll do the task that I need to do. I got some techno music in my ear. I do like me some techno, guys. Techno's pretty rock and roll, which rock and roll is who I am. I am definitely deep rock and roll rooted, but I like 70s, 80s, and some 90s hairband ballad type stuff. Just, you know, some good stuff. But anyway, we got some techno in our ears today, guys, and it suits the project just fine. And we're going to rock on down the road with some techno and continue this quasar themed ring. All right, guys, let's go out in the garage, and we will begin cutting our material needed for the band that we're going to make. I have a pretty cool little idea. It's going to kind of set. Anyway, I'll show you. We turn imagination into reality around here, guys, and I have a pretty cool idea for a band. I think it'll work wonderful on this thing, so let's see what we can't do. We'll see y'all out in the garage, begin cutting our material and milling it down. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I got my piece here measured. It's about roughly 5.5 inches there in length, and by the time I get it milled down, it's going to create a double. It's going to create a double band, and I know my inches, guys. I know I'm trying to convert from standard to metric, and I just know my inches. I know how to measure. I've just done it for all my life, and I just know standard. But I'm definitely trying to get into the measurement of millimeters. You know, I don't know what 5.5 inches is of millimeters, but I'm going to guess, let's see, 70, I'm going to guess 140 millimeters. And through practice and repetitiveness, I'm going to get better. So let's say 5.5 inches is 140 millimeters. I'm going to double check my work here in just a minute and see how close I was and see if I'm getting any better at this stuff. So y'all hang tight, and we'll see y'all at the bench, guys. Y'all hang tight. Oh, hell, y'all hang tight. I'm going to mill this up together and listen to me some techno. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, that is actually 5.86 inches. According to this little piece of equipment, 5.86 inches, which I said 5.5. I wasn't far off. And let's see what that actually is in millimeters. Damn, I'm getting close, guys. 149 millimeters. I said 140 millimeters, boy. Boys coming around, learning some little metric action. All right, guys, y'all hang tight. I'm going to get this thing milled up or cut in half, and we'll start making our band. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I got my band here, and the idea that I came up with for the best case scenario for me to actually make the band that I'm looking in my mind, my imagination, to bring it to reality is I'm just going to just the very tip. I'm just going to solder the very tip. I don't want to do any more than just the tip. So it's very little bitty solder, just enough to give it a good hold so we can wrap it around the mandrel. And yeah, guys, here we go. Solder this little unit up real quick and carry on. All right, guys, we got that little unit soldered up there. I think I'm gonna hit it a little bit more just to make sure it's soldered, because when we wrap it around the mandrel, we don't want no issues there. Woo! Damn, that got hot quick on them old fingers, on them meats. Didn't have no meat protector on. Get this thing back up to temperature quick. Man, it don't take long for that thing to drop temperature, that's for sure. Try to get that tip of that blue flame right on there, and that's the hottest point of the torch, is right there at the tip of that blue flame, and try to get this thing back up to temperature real quick. There we go. All right, guys, we got it pulled in there now. I think I'm gonna flip it over and pull it from the top side to the bottom side. So I'm gonna flip it over and try to pull that solder to the other side there, guys. That's my idea. Oh, it's soldered up, I can see, but I'm still gonna pull some through. Yeah, it's soldered up real nice. Here it comes. All right, guys, I'm gonna call that good right there. I'm gonna sit there and let that marinate for just a second and let it solidify and get all real nice and adhered to each other. We'll quench it and then probably wrap it around the mandrel, pickle it, and finish this little band up and join the bezel and the band itself together, and just one step at a time. I see the whole project through my mind just like that, but sometimes it don't just go just like that. We have issues throughout the project sometimes, and just part of it, but no issues this far. So far, so good. Imagination into reality, step by step so far. All right, guys, that's enough jibber jabber. I'm gonna quench it and pickle it and wrap it around the mandrel or something in that order. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, let's wrap this thing around the mandrel. And I got a little solder ball right there left, so whenever the two meet, I may not even have to lay no solder on it, just kind of unite the two and heat it up and marry the two together. So let's see here, let's get us a nice little form here. We'll kind of oversize it and just get it in the shape here. Let's see, guys, that's a fairly big ring right there. We don't want that thing on that finger, I don't think. Do I want to make this a pinky ring? It probably would look actually better on the middle finger. So we're pretty close to the right size there, guys. We're going to, I think I may want to make this a pinky ring actually. Either ways, I'm going to put a little extra thought into this thing. I'm going to get this thing nice and cleaned up, sized up, and we'll solder it up. And then I'm going to actually take the very tip top of the ring and spread it apart. In fact, I'm going to leave this thing as big as possible because when I spread it, it's going to shrink it. So, yeah, I think we need to actually probably leave this thing as big as possible. Because like I said, when I spread the top, it's actually going to probably pull it in just a little bit. Maybe how I see it in my mind. Possibly. So I'm going to square these ends up, get them nice and square, make one little single cut, and we are going to solder it up. And then I'll go ahead and separate the two pieces together so we can form a galactic type of style for the, kind of like how Earth, I don't know. Anyway, we're not going to get into all that. We're going to separate it so that the bezel has a way, has something to sit in right there, guys. We're going to create a manger type thing, a little. Anyway, that's enough jibber jabber. I got to freaking go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I have this thing overlapped just enough so that we're able to catch right there on the edges, and we're going to slice it straight through. We're going to form the ring together. It should be a nice, smooth, seamless joint. And we're going to solder it up, and then we're going to create a cradle at the very top by separating it, and then we'll get it on the mandrel and kind of loop it in there so it's nice and cradle-like, like a fabric of space that creates gravity. Earth sits inside the fabric. Anyway, that's kind of how I was wanting my bezel to do, to set into the fabric, creating. Anyway, let's carry on, guys. Here we go. Y'all hang tight. All right, guys, I got this all real nice and tight right there. It should form a seamless gap. So let's solder this little thing up and see what happens here. Let's see, I think I want to actually probably, since I don't know what the best case scenario is here. Let's I guess we'll set it up like that right there. I'm gonna make me a solder ball out of that little unit, and I'm gonna lay it right on top. And that should be enough solder to seal the deal, guys. I would hope so. All right. Let's lay this little thing right on top, right up there. All right, guys, let's heat that up and see what happens here. Here we go. I really don't want to heat the bottom of the ring because I don't want I don't want it to flow down there. So I'm going to try to keep my heat focused right here on the very tip top. And since I have solder on the right hand side of the ring, I'm actually just going to try to bring the solder itself right here just to the top, just like that. So like that, I don't want to bring it any further down around. I'm going to bring it on over here. I need to get me another piece of solder because I see a little seam over here. Oh, maybe it just filled up. It just filled up, guys. We're going to stop right there. There it is. We're going to quench this thing, pickle it, and we're going to go ahead and separate the top, creating the cradle for the bezel to set into. And we'll continue on. Here we go. You all hang tight. All right, guys, I got my bezel set. I got my ring made, ring band, and let's go ahead and connect the two together. What I'm going to do is heat the bottom. I'm just going to kind of heat it all up at the same time. Being that the bottom material is definitely thinner, we're going to try to heat the ring itself up, being it's thicker. Try to get some good heat to it, and we'll just kind of heat it all up evenly as we'll work our way down to the plate, whatever. I don't even know what this is, the fire block or whatever it is. We'll heat it up. We'll heat the ring up, trying to heat the ring itself up more than anything else at this particular moment. Like I said, being that it's definitely thicker, and hopefully when we hit our stick solder to it, it don't move on us. That is the idea. No way to really place no solder balls on there because it's just my bezel's too thin and ain't nothing really going to sit on it. So we're just going to hit it with this stick solder and hope all goes well. Get this thing up to nice good temperature. Guys, I think that's that. We'll sit there and let that marinate. That way that solder will harden up, and I'm not going to move it while it's nice and soft, and we don't want that thing coming undone on us and creating havoc. Not this close to the end of the project, that's for sure. That's happened quite a few times in my learning process. But each day I wake up a little bit better, a little bit better version of myself, a little bit extra XP points. I wake up thinking about making jewelry along with many other different things, guys. So anyway, let's us quench this thing, pickle it, and maybe see if we don't want to put some sort of visuals on it just to enhance it, see if it's possible. I do got some twisted wire over here that we could actually use to enhance it possibly, or maybe even goober it up and make it look like garbage. I don't know. But either way, y'all hang tight. I'm going to quench it, pickle it, and see what we don't come up with next. Here we go. All right, guys, I have finished the quasar ring, and it turned out pretty nice. It did not take me hardly any time at all. I probably have 2 hours in this ring, so that's why my desk is still all discombobulated at this particular time, because I do plan on making another ring. I probably won't film it, just get me some practice, because heck, it's only been a couple hours and this ring went fairly easy, which is pretty cool, you know. With repetition, it just becomes easier and easier. And just doing not the same thing, but basically the same thing on a daily basis. You're just going to get good at whatever it is that you're doing. And I try to wake up a better version of myself every single day. So the quasar ring is definitely done. It looks very nice. I grade this thing a C. If I had a polisher and could polish it up, it would definitely become a C+. I see myself getting out of the F's and the D's in the last few days, so I know my craftsmanship level, my XP points has definitely risen, and we're just getting better each and every day, guys, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to even get to do this kind of stuff. Who would have ever thought 1 year ago, that I would be making jewelry? Heck, I didn't even get interested in this stuff until probably last 2 weeks of October, probably, of 2024. I didn't even get interested in jewelry. But anyway, for whatever reason, it's hit me and it's in my bloodstream, and I enjoy every minute of it. And I use my imagination and the things that I'm interested in, which is the galaxy and all kinds of cool things. And I just kind of implement that into my creations and my themed ring type. Just like this is the quasar, and you know, there's the quasars out in the universe are pretty interesting things, you know, pretty cool stuff. So guys, with that being said, I'm going to leave it at that. And like always, I'm going to leave you a huge energy ball full of energy, full of imagination, full of love, full of joy, and full of connectedness. Coming at you. All right, guys, catch that if you can. But if you see it coming, you better brace yourself, because it's big and it's full and it's going to get you, and it can change your life. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all hang out. Y'all hang tight.